Morning guys, Ben here from 100mman. We have 21 days, 20 hours to Ironman. Nearly at the 20-day mark. So, it's a Friday, it is recovery week. I have a nice and easy 50-minute run later this afternoon. Have some work commitments I've got to catch up on this morning, so I'm going to be delaying my run until a bit later on. Feel pretty good after yesterday. I woke up in the night, actually my right shoulder was a little bit aching. I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. It's due to past injury when I was playing rugby when I was in the army, and I broke my collarbone. It's bonded an inch, there's an inch overlap, so basically my right collarbone is bringing in my shoulder round. It's actually dropped my shoulder by an inch, which in turn has an effect on the biomechanics of the rest of my body. But it's one of those things you work with, you know. What I found is, and I think this is true, or could be said is true for most injuries or most issues with the body, the more that you work with it and strengthen the rest of the body, the more help you are giving the body, you know, the more you're allowing it to continue as needed. Talking about continuing as needed, I spoke to a client yesterday. We were talking about where she is in her life, how certain aspects of her life haven't panned out over the last few years as she intended, what she hopes to achieve in the next few years, and the restrictions that she's got within her life. Talking about being true to self and alignment. She asked a very good question. The question was, well, how do I know when I'm in alignment? How do I know when I'm working in self? How do I know when I'm working in truth? My answer is quite simple, but also with a small amount of reflection, allows the individual to go a little bit deeper in their thought process and really start to question life as a whole. And I think it can really only be done when you're consciously taking time out to reflect, to think. And you know when you're working true to self, because you meet the least resistance. There is no resistance. There are challenges, but there's no resistance. If your dream and aspirations is to be living in a warm, hot climate like myself, because I operate there with the least resistance, and I make the choice not to be in that climate for whatever reason, then I can only ever be in misalignment. I'm very sensitive to nature's environmental factors, me as an individual. It's not true for everybody else, and I'm aware of that. You put me in the cold, in the rain, my body closes off, shuts down. Whereas I know someone else, a guy from Sweden that I know, and he comes to life in sub-zero temperatures and can't cope, or has very difficulty coping in heat. Yet both require you as the individual to slow down. You know, you can't operate too fast in the heat. If you do, you become exhausted, you're tired, same can be said in the cold, where I'm globally located. You have the ability to work because of the, I want to say stability, but the stability in temperature, not the stability in seasons. You know, the variants are not particularly high. So, but I only found that out. I only found out that I'm sensitive to weather based on internal reflection and really chunking down self, getting to know self, getting to understand me, getting to understand what makes me tick, where and who makes me the most productive and happy. And you know, it takes a while to, I think, get to it takes a while to get to that stage. It takes a while to get to that place where you can be truly honest with yourself. And once you've created that awareness, that position, and then you're meeting least resistance because you're aware of mindful aspects that promote stability, growth, happiness, success, whatever that means to you. Once you reach that place, then you really know whether you're acting in alignment or not. You know, if you're waking up in the morning finding it a struggle to get out of bed, you're in a dead-end relationship that offers no unconditional support. In a relationship that brings you down, demotivates, suppresses you as an individual. Then you go to work and you're working just to service debt. And you're getting home and you're eating shoddy food that isn't supportive to health, the immune system, to growth or production. And then if you're not getting a good quality night's sleep, because you're restless, because you're stressed, then I would probably say that you're meeting a lot of resistance. And as a result of that, you're not in alignment. You're not acting or servicing yourself in truth. So, yeah, that was just my thoughts. That was something that I just needed to really say, and I thought it was a good question. You know, we go about our daily life, most of us, not questioning why we're meeting so much resistance, why perhaps letters arrive on your doorstep, perhaps why you're ill, why you're unhappy, why mindfully you feel lost. And these are all really big clues that you're not in alignment. And alignment doesn't mean that you're dancing naked in the wilderness, eating carrots and living a very alternative life. That's not what alignment is, or living in truth. Living in truth is what works perfectly for you based on your legacy statement, where you're going, what you're doing. It's going to change, you know. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. I'm not the same person I was yesterday. So that truth, that alignment is always shifting. But if you're acting in the present moment, in true alignment to self, what you want out of life, what you value, where you'd like to be in 2 lifetimes to become, then for me, you've nailed that strategy. You've nailed that way of living. So, that's it for this morning. I will catch up with you in a couple of hours. I hope you like the run. For now, peace out. Hi guys, Ben here. So, as I said earlier, I said enjoy the run, thinking that I was going to be going out, hitting either a trail or heading down to the beach. What actually ended up happening was I went to the gym. It started to rain, so I jumped on the treadmill. So I did 50 minutes on the treadmill at level 9 or whatever it was, keeping the heart rate zone below 3. It was really easy. Listened to a couple of podcasts, gathered some thoughts on some bits and pieces with regards to my training, but ultimately that's it for today. It's a Friday, which means absolutely nothing, as I say each week when you're training for an event, or having the freedom to do as you wish, not working a 9 till 5 job. The work never really stops. Pretty tired, to be honest, although it's been a relatively low intensity week, with the recovery week. Still pretty tired. I've been sleeping intermittently. My sleep's been very broken. It could be any number of things. But tomorrow's another day. I've got 3.5 hours tomorrow on the turbo. I would say I'm going out, but the weather looks horrible again tomorrow. And as I say every single week, I'd rather stick in a good quality training session with consistency rather than stopping and starting, dodging potholes, getting wet, and all of the others. So I think for me, sitting on the turbo is going to be the most productive. Although I'm not gaining that road experience, I am aware that on the day the traffic is heavily reduced and the road qualities in Lanzarote are exceptional. And that's one thing I do know. So I'm confident enough to jump on the bike on the day, not having done very few long distances. I would have done 8, probably 9 decent long rides, and then obviously several smaller rides. But clocked up a lot of distance on the turbo, so it is what it is. Doing the best with what I've got, reducing any risk of injury or anything of that nature. So that's it for now. I will catch up with you first thing tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. I'm really appreciative, of every person that watches one of my videos, for every person that likes one of my photos on Instagram, for every person that hits me up on Facebook or any of the social medias. Really, the effort that you give to send the love my way, I really appreciate. I know it's not free, I know it takes time, I know it takes effort, and yeah, for that I'm grateful. So that's it for now. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe using the link below, and I look forward to catching up with you first thing tomorrow. For now, peace out, have a good Friday, be safe.